something you recently did was competed in a fitness competition. Was that the right word?
Yes.
Like
a men's physique competition. So it's a form of bodybuilding, but not like bodybuilding like Arnold Schwarzenegger. The way I present it is like the bikini dudes, that's bodybuilders.
Gotcha.
Guys in like the classical shorts, that's classic physique. Men's physique, I wear like surfer shorts. Like,
gotcha.
Yeah.
And that makes sense. So, what inspired you to do that? And I believe you're 49 currently.
Yes.
I want to throw that out there. But obviously you're super jacked. He's in shape. We'll leave the shirt on for today. Maybe the next video we'll take the shirt off. But what inspired you to do that? Is it? I'm assuming it's somewhat based around you got to keep giving social proof. You got to walk the walk.
That's exactly it. I take a lot of pride in sharing with my clients, like, you have to get comfortable getting uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. How the hell can I ask the people I coach to get outside their comfort zone if I'm not challenging myself, right? And so to answer your question on the physique comp, what got me into that? Yeah, I got called out by a personal trainer. That's what ended up happening. I had a client who owned a boutique gym in New York. I did a seminar for them and his team as a small team of people. Talk about goal setting, get uncomfortable, this, that, the other thing. And then the next week, my personal trainer, this Coach Steve, is at my session and he goes, all right, Paul, so like, what are you gonna do this year? I'm like, oh, that's easy. I'm opening up another school, I'm buying another building, like all this stuff. And he starts laughing. I'm like, well, what are you laughing at? He goes, well, I'm your personal trainer. What's your fitness goals? I'm like, oh, that's easy. I'm going to run another half marathon. I'm going to do another Ragnar relay. And he starts laughing again. I go, what are you laughing at? He goes, haven't you done that before? And I'm like, I have. What are you going to do, Mr. Paul, Coach Paul, to get uncomfortable? I'm like, mother, like he's calling me out my shit. And I said, all right, what do you got in mind, hotshot? He goes, well, you like weight training? I go, yeah, I love weight training. He goes, do a bodybuilding show. I'm like, I'm not getting on stage in a bikini. He goes, no, physique competition. And this is like literally like January, February of that year. And I said, you know what? I have a big Memorial Day party I used to at my house in New York. 200 people, right? Big banger. And I go, find me a show before Memorial Weekend. And I shit you not, he goes on his phone. He found this like all natural bodybuilding show in Connecticut, whatever it was. And I was like, right then and there, I go, register me. So I call this the 5 Ds. My first D, can I go into this? Is that all right?
Yeah, let's go for it.
My first D is decide. Okay? So when I decide, that is the most powerful thing ever, to make a friggin' decision. The second D is I declared it. And what I do, not to be arrogant, not to be cocky, I put it all over social media, right? I declared it. I told people, I told my clients, I put myself out there. When you declare something out to people, what does it do?
Motivate you.
Motivate you, hold you what?
Accountable.
Accountable.
Yeah.
Right? Accountable. I would have to look like a complete ass if I backed out of that goal.
Yep.
Right? Literally. Like complete ass. So I made a decision and then I declared it all over social media, told my clients, I boldly put it out there. Third D is discipline, which most people, if they look at me, they go, oh, see, you're so disciplined. Everybody's disciplined, right? Everybody has habits. I drink this, someone else drinks soda. I meditate, someone else sleeps in. I lift, someone else watches TV. Everyone is disciplined, everyone has habits. You know what you should be doing, but people aren't willing to do it.
100%.
So decide, declare, discipline. Fourth D is dominate. Now, as competitors, we want to dominate our opponents, don't we?
Absolutely.
Okay? You took that same FU mentality from the ring and you put it into business.
Yeah.
But I want to dominate guys on the stage. I wanted to dominate dudes in the mountain bike races. I would love to have the domination mindset when I used to compete. Dominate isn't really about competing against others. I reference my second best Paul voice. I got an easy target Paul voice that was this little 7-year-old kid who got his ass kicked every single day, right? I got a wise ass Paul voice. They dominated me up until I was almost 40 years old. But I also got a Grandmaster Melella voice. I got a perfect Paul voice. And I also got a Coach Paul voice, right? Coach Paul is in a Mac Daddy pimp suit, Perfect Paul's got no shirt on. He's on stage. Grandmaster Melella is in a dobo. He doesn't curse, by the way. That's why you're getting a combination of, you said bring everybody.
I said bring everybody.
Bring everybody. And I wanted to dominate my little voices, man. Yeah. Right? It took me 40 years to dominate my own voices. And the last D is driving force. Your driving force should be your worthy ideal. But if I did the 7 times why exercise with you, when we got to number 7, what is Donovan Ryder's driving force? What was it?
Mine was never, like, feeling like I wasn't good enough.
Yeah, but at the end, when I got to that last 7, why were you doing all this for?
For my daughter.
That's right. Your driving force is your family.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be your legacy, and it's going to be your family. Or the only other thing that I've heard before when I've done that exercise with clients is their higher power.
Right.
Right? And I call that the trifecta. You connect to your higher power, whatever you call it. I choose to call it God, right? The universe, whatever you want to call it. Your legacy and your family lights out.
Yeah.
My driving force has to do with everything about growth, everything about my family, everything about my legacy, everything about my connection to God. When you tap into that energy, all these goals are lights out.
Right.
When you can make that connection.
Yeah.
I don't know where I just got that out of, but I'm just like flowing on it.
Woo! That was awesome.
I'm on the phone till 10 a.m. still. We've still got, and I don't do drugs, by the way. You know, like this is like water, you know, and like maybe a 5-hour energy at 8 o'clock this morning before my workout.
There's our intro right there. I'm not on drugs, by the way. No, you know, it's so powerful, and I agree. You know, I actually had a mentor I was meeting with recently, and we were chatting. He's like, what motivates you? Are you more motivated by growth and pushing forward? You want more schools? You want more money? You want more power? Or what is it for you? And I was like, honestly, for me, it's fear. It's fear. And I don't think there's a right or wrong, right? I think that's just how I'm wired. And when I say fear, it's not fear. There's 2 fears for me. One is because I didn't grow up with a lot. We were not, great financially and big houses and cars. So I don't want to go back to that. Now that I have a better life for my family, and it's not a fear for me, I'm fine going back to that. I don't want to, but I don't want my daughter to have to grow up like that, right? So I want what's better for her. So I live out of a fear of if I'm not doing enough, that could become a reality. But the biggest fear for me personally is that I know that I could be doing more. Because referencing back to what you mentioned was about competing. I was the same way, right? Like, I definitely won some things and I had a good career. I think it was respectable. But the thing about it was I know I didn't do enough. There was practices when I didn't give my best. There was tournaments that I should have won and I didn't win because I wasn't doing what I should have been doing. And what I mean by that, a lot of times it was listening to that little voice in my ear saying you're not good enough. And one thing that changed was when I became an entrepreneur, when I became a business owner, like just like you, I said never again. Never again. And I live in a fear of not giving my best. So for me personally, I think some people are motivated completely by growth. And I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting the money or wanting those things. But for me, it's more of, I know I could have done more. And I almost feel like I'm making up for lost time.
That's how I feel. And I'll be 50 in May of 2024. In my world, I'm not even at the halfway mark. Mm-hmm. Most people my age are like, oh man, I can't wait to retire. My brother-in-law, he had on his watch the day he was going to retire from the NYPD. Countdown. Mm-hmm. Countdown.
Yep. I have a close friend just like that as well.
You know what I mean? Like, really? Like, that's where, like, you guys are just waiting to F and die? That's just it.
Yeah.
That's a horrible way to live.
Yeah, no, I agree. So question for you, wrapping this up, bringing this full circle, you've worked with martial arts schools, you still own 4 very successful martial arts schools, you work as a consultant, you work with health and fitness, you're involved with a lot of people. If anyone that, just someone's like, hey, I'm thinking about making the leap in business, I want to do my own thing, I either want to leave my company or I want to turn a hobby into a passion, what would your advice be to them?
I would actually start with that why. Mm-hmm. Why is it important for you? And then the second thing I would ask is, if you and I were going to be, and this is actually an opening question. I learned this from Dan Sullivan. He's the owner of Strategic Coach, yep. Right? I was a student of that, 25 years ago, whatever it was. I actually still use this in my process. If you and I were going to meet and you could put the timeline in it, a year from today, 5 years from today, have the conversation with your future self.
Right.
You know what I mean? Call it 3 years, 5 years. What has to have happened that would make you happy a year from now or 3 years from now or with this business? You know, what do you want? Let's be as specific as possible. And then why? It's the what and the why. You know what people get caught up on? On the how. When someone says to me, Donovan, how'd you do it? How'd you get to X amount of schools? To the one school owner. How'd you do it? And you go like this. Well, one school owner person, let's just take this as a story. Let's just say from where we're standing, over there is everything that you want. It's an island. It's the schools. It's the home. It's the relationship. It's the car. It's the money. It's the students. It's whatever the vision is. And in between where we are and to that island of everything that you want, your result, your outcome, is a body of water. And in the body of water is alligators, there's sharks, call them all the obstacles. Right. What you do, single school owner, is you focus in on how you're going to navigate through all those obstacles. And you're trying to figure out how it's possible. You know what I do? Multi-level school owner person that's successful. I already visualize myself on the other side. You already knew your outcome. You saw everything that you're doing right this second years ago. Tell me if I'm right or wrong.
100%.
You're already visualizing yourself what you're going to do in another 5 years, aren't you?
100%.
It's in your head?
Absolutely.
Clear as day?
Yes.
Damn straight. That's the difference. You already see yourself on the other side. You think I'd ever imagine I was going to live in Charleston, South Carolina?
Probably not, no.
I've never been here before.
Yeah.
The first time I came here, I bought that land.
Yep.
Like that.
I
decided.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
That's awesome. Well, Paul, I really appreciate you. I think we're going to have to probably break this up into multiple videos, number one. But number two, we definitely got to get you back in here. There's just too much value that you can bring to the world. And I know you do that every single day with your students, with your family, with your own community. I mean, you're so involved with your community and with your clients as well. So again, thank you for taking the time. I really appreciate it. All right, guys, like I said, thank you for checking this out. If you find value in it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And we'll be bringing you more content here soon.